Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, The Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 1, entitled The First Step in God Realization. Text 22. Rajo Vacha Yatha Sandharyate Brahman Dharana Yatra Sammata Yadrishiva Haredashu Purushasya Manomalam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The fortunate King Parikshit, inquiring further, said, O Brahmana, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied, and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The dirty things in the heart of a conditioned soul are the root cause of all troubles for him. A conditioned soul is surrounded by the manifold miseries of material existence, but on account of his gross ignorance, he is unable to remove the troubles due to dirty things in the heart accumulated during the long prison life in the material world. He is actually meant to serve the will of the Supreme Lord, but on account of the dirty things in the heart, he likes to serve his concocted desires. These desires, instead of giving him any peace of mind, create new problems and thus bind him to the cycle of repeated birth and death. These dirty things of fruitive work and empiric philosophy can be removed only by association with the Supreme Lord. The Lord, being omnipotent, can offer his association by his inconceivable potencies. Thus, persons who are unable to pin their faith on the personal feature of the Absolute are given a chance to associate with his Virat Rupa, or the cosmic impersonal feature of the Lord. The cosmic impersonal feature of the Lord is a feature of his unlimited potencies. Since the potent and potencies are identical, even the conception of his impersonal cosmic feature helps the conditioned soul to associate with the Lord indirectly and thus gradually rise to the stage of personal contact. Maharaj Parikshit was already directly connected with the personal feature of the Lord, Sri Krishna, and as such, he had no need to inquire from Shukadev Goswami about where and how to apply the mind in the impersonal Virat Rupa of the Lord. But he inquired after a detailed description of the matter for the benefit of others who are unable to conceive of the transcendental personal feature of the Lord as the form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. The non-devotee class of men cannot think of the personal feature of the Lord. Because of their poor fund of knowledge, the personal form of the Lord, like Rama or Krishna, is completely revolting to them. They have a poor estimation of the potency of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 11, it is explained by the Lord himself that people with a poor fund of knowledge deride the Supreme Personality of the Lord, taking him to be a common man. Such men are ignorant of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. By the inconceivable potency of the Lord, he can move in human society or any other society of living beings and yet remain the same omnipotent Lord, without deviating in the slightest from his transcendental position. So, for the benefit of men who are unable to accept the Lord in his personal eternal form, Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukadev Goswami how to fix the mind on him in the beginning, and the Goswami replied in detail as follows. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. We are in the beginning of the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In the first canto, we all know that Maharaj Parikshit, when he got to know that he will have to give up his body in 7 days' time, he gave up his kingdom, his riches, his family, and he came to the bank of river Ganga, and there he was advised by many devotees that the best way for you to prepare yourself to die is to hear about Krishna. Hearing Krishna Katha. And at that time, Shukadev Goswami, the great son of Vyasadeva, liberated soul, who had thoroughly studied Srimad Bhagavatam from his learned father, walked into that assembly. And Shukadev Goswami was very pleased when Maharaj Parikshit requested him, please speak to me the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the first canto of Bhagavatam ends with this part, the appearance of Shukadev Goswami. Now in the second canto, it begins with the point where Maharaj Parikshit further inquires. He begins his inquiry actually. And in these verses we are seeing the great fortunate king Maharaj Parikshit is inquiring from Shukadev Goswami. What is he inquiring? Before this, Maharaj Parikshit was told by Shukadev Goswami about many things, especially how the materialistic people, they spend their time. During the daytime, they are busy earning money, working hard. During the night time, they engage in sleep and sense gratification. And in this way, they miss out the actual purpose of human life, which is to inquire about Krishna. So, and many other things Parikshit Maharaj was told by Shukadev Goswami. And hearing about all of those things, this is one of the questions that Maharaj Parikshit is asking Shukadev Goswami in this verse. Yatha sandharyate brahman. Sandharyate means the conception, how to meditate upon. Yatha sandharyate Brahman, O Brahmana, Shukadev Goswami. Dharana yatra sammata. Dharana means to fix one's mind. Yatra, how and in what manner one should actually prepare his mind. How to fix one's mind on the Supreme Lord. Yatha sandharyate Brahman. Dharana yatra sammata. Yadrishi va haredashu. So why he wants to fix his mind on the Supreme? Because ashu purushasya manomalam haret. Haret means to become free from, to extricate completely. There is so much of manomalam. Malam means contamination, dirt. And where are all these dirty things situated? These dirty things are situated in manaha, in our minds. Purushasya manaha, in the minds of people in this world. So, how, first of all, here Parikshit Maharaj is asking 3 questions, very important questions he is asking Shukadev Goswami. First of all, he is asking where the mind has to be applied. Where should I fix my mind? Secondly, he is asking how the mind has to be applied. Not it's not only enough to know where to apply the mind, we should also know how to steady the mind and apply it, fix it on that particular object. And thirdly, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, how can the conception be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed? It's very, very important 3 questions he is asking. As Prabhupada writes in the purport, just now we read, Maharaj Parikshit was already directly connected with the Supreme Lord. Maharaj Parikshit had seen the Supreme Lord face to face even when he was within the womb of his mother. So he was a pure devotee. He had already fixed his mind on the personal feature of the Lord. Then why is he asking this question? He is asking this question for our benefit. Great personalities, when they discuss Krishna Katha, it is not only for their benefit, it is actually for the benefit of the entire humanity. It is said, in the Krishna Katha discussion, the Vakta, the speaker, the Shrotru, the listener, and the person who is inquiring, Pritchaka, all the 3 personalities are benefited. So that is the greatness of Krishna Katha. And it is because Maharaj Parikshit asked these questions to Shukadev Goswami, today we are all sitting here and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. That means asking the right questions is very, very important for a spiritual practitioner. In fact, for any human being to be called as human being, how do we know whether somebody has come to that human consciousness? If he is asking relevant questions. That is how the Vedanta Sutras begin. Athato Brahma Jignasa. We are all having Jignasa about so many things. Jignasa about what we will eat for the dinner. Jignasa about which movie is newly released. Jignasa about what is happening in the stock market. Right now the big Jignasa for everybody is, for the next month, will we get LPG gas cylinder or not? Because on the social media we see so many posts are going on viral, in many big hotels, industries and big temples, they are really struggling because of shortage of LPG gas cylinder. So one big jignasa for everyone is, next month, okay, now I have cylinder at my house, somehow cooking is happening. If I don't get cylinder next month, what will happen? And many people have started thinking how to do flameless cooking. Many new recipes people are discovering. That means there is some jignasa. But the scriptures say that we must have jignasa about Brahman, about the supreme absolute truth. Human life is useless if we don't ask questions, if you don't inquire about the supreme absolute truth. If you don't ask, if you are not inquisitive to know about your relationship with Krishna, then human life is wasted. That is why the first sutra, in the very beginning, it is in the Vedanta, it is Athato Brahma Jignasa. Jignasa. So Parikshit Maharaj is showing his jignasa. He is asking where to fix the mind, how to fix the mind, and how to get rid of the dirty things which have accumulated in our mind. Now, generally, it is said, the first thing that you do in your day, that decides the rest of your day, how it is going to be. That is why our parents, our elders always advised us, as soon as you get up, you must see the Lord. How many of us have this practice? Yes, we see the Lord, isn't it? First thing that as soon as I open my eyes, I should see the Lord. I should have darshana of the Lord. Because as soon as I see the Lord, I get purified. Isn't it? But most of the people today, what darshana they have as soon as they get up? They have mobile phone darshana. And when they open their mobile phones, smartphones in the very beginning of the day, as soon as they get up, the first thing is to check the notifications on their smartphone. There will be some 30, 40 or 50 notifications or even more for many people, because they would have installed all the apps on Play Store. All the new apps should be there on my phone. And then notifications checking one after the other. And what kind of news do we get today on the social media? We get only negative news and useless news. Imagine starting your day with this kind of a negative darshana. There is no Krishna darshana. There is only Maya darshana. So what happens because of that? The whole day goes in only Maya seva. If you see Krishna first, whole day will go in Krishna seva. But if you are seeing Maya Devi's allurements, then whole day is spent simply uselessly. So here, Prabhupada writes in the purport how these dirty things have got accumulated in our mind. One of the major reasons, major ways in which dirty things enter our mind today is mobile darshana. There is no doubt about it. In the very beginning of this purport, Srila Prabhupada says that the dirty things in the heart of a conditioned soul are the root cause of all troubles for him. Why there are so many troubles? Why there are so many miseries? It is because of the dirty things that have accumulated in our mind. This is the diagnosis. Whenever you fall sick, you go to the doctor does pathology. He does a check of what is wrong with this person, what went wrong, what is the cause. Finding out the cause of the disease is the first step in treatment. If you don't know what is the cause, how will you even treat? So here Srila Prabhupada is beginning the purport by saying why we are suffering in this world, why there are so many miseries, why we are going through so much of troubles. The root cause is dirty things in our mind. Purushasya manomalam. Purushasya refers to conditioned souls. Actually the real Purusha means enjoyer. The real Purusha is Krishna. But here in this material world, all of us are trying to imitate the Supreme Lord. Therefore we are all imitation Purushas. Both men and women, we are all trying to imitate Krishna. So that's why we are called Purusha sometimes in the scriptures. Here Purusha means imitation Purusha. So Purushasya manomalam, the dirty things within our heart, are actually the cause of all our troubles. Many times what we do is, when we go through some miseries, when some difficulties in life, what do? We try to find the cause externally. See, because of this person I am suffering today. We say that, right? In my childhood, had my parents put me to good school, today, I would have been something different. Today I would have been Albert Einstein. But Einstein was a school dropout, by the way. What I'm trying to say is, every difficulty, every challenge that we come across in our life, we always try to ascribe it to some external source. Because of this I am suffering. Because of government policies I am suffering in my life. Because of politicians I am suffering in my life. We keep blaming everybody. But Bhagavatam says, stop the blame game. The actual problem is within you. You have only caused and invited all the problems. Why? What is the actual cause? Purushasya manomalam. The dirty things which are there in our consciousness. This is actually the problem. Very famous example we know. If you try to see your face in a mirror covered with dust, can you see your reflection properly? No, right? In the same way, because our mind is now contaminated, it is covered with so much of dust, many dirty things. That is why we are not able to understand who we are. 99.99% of the people living on this planet do not know who they are. They think they are their bodies. We all think we are our bodies. That means who we are, that itself we don't know. What is the root cause? The mirror of the mind is covered with thick layer of dust. In fact, the modern psychologists also say that about 90 to 95% of human behavior is dictated by our subconscious conditioning. What we have fed into our mind system since childhood, that conditions us, that alters our perception. And based on that, we make decisions and choices in life. In fact, a study conducted in the Harvard University said that about 47% of people's waking time is spent in wandering thoughts. Wandering means what? Not wondering. Wondering is anyway there. But wandering. Mind is going on and on and on. Right? From America to Australia, from everywhere. Mind is keep on roaming. Chanchalam. Isn't it? Chanchala means not fixed. Mind is roaming. Even the Harvard study shows this. In fact, wandering thoughts, they are linked to lower happiness levels. The more our mind wanders, the more you allow the mind to keep wandering from one subject to another subject without being able to fix it on the Lord, the more we will remain unhappy, dissatisfied in our lives. That is why it is said, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayoho. Mind is the cause of one's bondage. The same mind is also the cause of one's liberation. Right? If the mind is fixed on Vishaya, sense objects, it causes bandhana, bondage. But if the same mind is fixed on the Lord, on spiritual understanding, on spiritual subject matter, then the same mind can help us liberate ourselves. That is why Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bandhuratmatmanastasya yenatmaivatmana jitaha anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmaiva shatruvat. This is chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita, verse number 6. And in this shloka, Krishna uses the word Atma 6 times. And what is the meaning of this word Atma? The word Atma can mean different things in different contexts. Atma means mind. Atma means body. Atma can mean the Supreme Lord. Atma can also mean, the soul. That is a general meaning that we all know. Atma means the soul. But the word Atma means different things in different contexts. So in the same shloka, Krishna uses the word Atma 6 times. Now how do we know what is, when Krishna says first time Atma, what does it mean? Bandhur Atmanastasya. Already 2 Atmas are over in this. Bandhur Atmanastasya. Yenatmaiva Atmana jitaha. So you see, how do we know? We cannot speculate. That is why we have to read the Bhaktivedanta purports. Only that person who has access to the mind of Krishna, he can explain to us what Krishna means when he says Atma here, when he says Atma in another place, what Krishna is meaning. We cannot speculate. We have to understand based on the Acharya's explanation. So, in that shloka, what is the meaning? For a person who has conquered his mind is the best friend. But for a person, Atma, who has not conquered his Atma, that is mind there, then his Atma, his mind, will be his worst enemy. Right? Dushman kaha hai? Dushman bagal mein hai, they say. Don't look at your neighbor. Here nobody is Dushman, all are bhaktas, devotees. But then we have to look within. Our own uncontrolled mind is the greatest enemy sitting within us. Now the question is, how these dirty things have entered our mind? Srila Prabhupada says, these dirty things have accumulated in our mind due to long prison life in the material world. We have spent a lot of time in this material world. And we have not simply spent time, we have contemplated about so many subject matters, about so many ways of material enjoyment and pleasures. We have continuously contemplated. Imagine, suppose in your house there is a room which was locked for 10 years. The room was locked for 10 years. No one went into that room for 10 years. And after 10 years, you get curious, what's happening inside? Let's go and see. What do you expect inside the room? Nobody has entered, nobody has used, no activity done in that room. What has happened? On all the objects, you can see a thick layer of dust. There will be cobwebs everywhere. Everywhere, cobwebs. You'll be thinking, is this my own house? Or have I come to some jungle? And there'll be some bad smell, odor also. In the same way, our hearts are also locked up with the cobwebs, with bad odor, with dust of lust, anger, greed, envy, so many of these dirty things. These are the dirty things sitting within our mind. And these have accumulated not just for 10 years, but over many millions of lifetimes. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, in one of his Vaishnava bhajans, he says, Anadi karma phale pade bhavarnava jale, tari bare na dekhi upai. He says, I have fallen into the ocean of material existence as a result of my selfish activities which are without beginning. Anadi karma. Means we cannot trace back in history when we actually came to this material world. It is anadi kala. From time immemorial, we are in this material world and we are engaging in so many nonsensical activities. Desires for sense gratification we have cultivated. And it is Bhaktivedanta Thakur is saying, and I see no means of deliverance from this great ocean of nescience. I don't see how to get out of this. Tari bare na dekhi upai. I don't know how to get out of this. It is my own self-created miseries that I am trapped into. And then he says, E vishaya hala hale divanishi hiya jwale mana kabhu sukhe nahi pai. Day and night my heart burns from the poison of these worldly activities, and on account of this my mind never finds any satisfaction or happiness. Day and night heart is burning. Why the heart is burning? Because of dirty things sitting within our heart. So it's not possible on our own to get out of it. Right? So, Srila Prabhupada writes in this purport, we are actually meant to serve the will of the Supreme Lord, but on account of these dirty things, we are serving our own concocted desires. These desires, instead of giving us any peace of mind, create new problems and thus bind us to the cycle of repeated birth and death. Today, if you ask anybody, an average person, what do you want, sir? If you ask, what do you want in your life? What will he say? I want one big bungalow. I want a better car. And I want the latest new model iPhone gadgets. This is what people generally say. And people work hard like anything to get these things. They dedicate their whole life to get a new bungalow constructed, to get the latest car, latest iPhone and all the gadgets. And after they get all of these, if you ask, are you happy now, sir? He will say, no, now I have more problems. EMIs, every month I have to pay. They say it is easy monthly installment, EMI. But is it easy? People who are actually working hard to pay back their EMIs every month, they actually realize it's not easy. And then lot of stress. In my old house, simple house, I was stress-free. Now I got a big bungalow, big house, but so much of stress. Competition, anxiety, these are the things. This is a self-created problem. We could have stayed, human life is meant for simple living, high thinking, but people don't realize this. Only if I have a big house, then I will have some stature in the society. People will take me seriously. And for that you dedicate your whole life, slog day and night, no proper sleep, no food. Prabhupada says, early in the morning people get up, travel in busy trains and they travel long distances, work whole day, and at the evening when he comes back home, or if he comes back, nowadays nobody comes back evening, they come late night, 12 o'clock. And what do they eat? 2 chapatis only they eat. So for these 2 chapatis, so much halla gulla, so much difficulty. Why? So this is what is happening. In fact, according to a survey by American Psychological Association, they found that financial ambition correlates with higher stress levels. The more you think ambitious, I want to become richer, work hard, stress is increasing in people. People are becoming restless. Now there is a very nice example for this, something connected with this in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. There was a king known as Maharaj Yayati. Due to a curse, this Maharaj Yayati, when he was in his youthful days, he was cursed by Shukracharya, so he loses his youth. He becomes an old man. Imagine, we are young, next moment somebody curses us and you become an old person. How does it feel? Becomes pathetic. So he was very disturbed by this. And he had 4 sons. He asks each of those sons, can you please exchange your youthhood? Give your youthhood to me. Take my old age. So the first 3 sons denied. They said, no, this is not possible. You allow me, I'm your son. Allow me to enjoy my youthhood. You're taking away what is this? The last son, Puru, he agreed. Yes, my dear father, I'm ready to serve you. I'm ready to exchange. So let's have an exchange. So exchange offer. Nowadays it's not possible. No one can exchange anything with anybody. Maybe they had some, whenever there is a shapa given, there is a ushapa also. That means there is some adjustment criteria given. Okay, if somebody agrees to take your old age, then you can regain your youth, like that. So Yayati used it, and his 4th son gave him his youth. And it is mentioned in the Bhagavatam, after he got his youth, he was so happy, he was so thrilled, as though he got a second life. And then for 1,000 years, he enjoys all varieties of sense gratification in this world. For 1,000 years. Right? And after those 1,000 years of enjoyment, he says something very interesting. What does he say? Let us see. Na jatu kamaha kamanam upabhogena shamyati havisha krishna vartmeva bhuya evabhi vardhate. This is in the 19th chapter of the 9th canto of Bhagavatam. He says, just like if you supply ghee to the fire, what will happen? The fire does not diminish. In fact, it increases more and more. In the same way, our endeavors to stop lusty desires by continual enjoyment can never be successful. It will never put off this lust. In fact, in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says that this lust is compared to a fire which keeps blazing forth. Some philosophers say, if there is urge, go and enjoy. Then it will come down. Whatever your mind is saying, just do it. Just do it. Nike. Just go and do it. But actually, is that the way? By continually enjoying, thinking that one day my lust will subside on its own, it will not happen. It will never happen. We have to voluntarily give up our sensual enjoyments. Voluntarily we have to give up. Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drushtva nivartate. Krishna says, if you have to voluntarily give up this material activities, you have to experience higher taste. Simply giving up is not going to help us. We have to engage ourselves in Krishna conscious activities, in devotional service. Then these dirty things will be cleansed. Because what Yayati Maharaj experienced, after 1,000 years also, in spite of trying so many endeavors for sense enjoyment, he was not satisfied. Still the urge was coming, more, ye dil mange more and more they wanted. So therefore he said, this is not going to happen. Till the end of my life I can't do this. So he came to his senses, he called back his son Puru and returned back his youthhood. And then he became a devotee. He said, now let me engage myself fully in spiritual activities. He became a devotee of the Lord. So this is a very important point. Now the dirty things are there in our heart. How to cleanse these dirty things? It's very important. We should not allow the dirt to remain, isn't it? If we allow the dirt to remain, we will also have to remain here in the material world. In so many species of life. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Again and again taking birth, again and again dying, and again entering another mother's womb. Isn't it? This keeps on continuing, the same story, action, repeat. So how do we get out of this dirt? Now let us take an example. We all have experience of washing clothes, right? All of us wash clothes. I asked somebody, do you wash clothes at home? He said, no, I don't wash. The washing machine does it. Of course, washing machine. So, now when you wash clothes, the clothes accumulate different kinds of stains, if you have observed. Some are easy to clean stains. Some are very, very tough stains. Isn't it? Do we all have experience? Okay. In between I am asking questions because I want to make sure that none of you is sleeping. Sunday morning, MVT, very nice cozy place here. Good. AC is there. Nice backrest is there. Hare Krishna. So that we should not do. Jeev Jago. Sunday morning has to be a day of awakening for us. So, there are different kinds of stains. The first one is surface dust. Suppose you are walking on the highway, so much of dust gets accumulated on your clothes. So what do you do? Some powder falls, some wheat flour, falls on your kurta. What do? You just shake it off. You just dust it. That's called dusting. If you just shake it off, surface level dust will go away. Correct, no? Now, this can be compared to the karma kanda rituals. The Vedic scriptures, they tell us, perform certain auspicious punya karma. Do some charity. Do some dana. You will accumulate some punya. And on the strength of that punya, you can become free from some sinful reactions. Okay, that works. But you may accumulate punya, but you may not become free from the dirt which is existing within the heart. So karma kanda rituals can be compared to cleaning the surface level dust by shaking off the cloth, by dusting it. Now what about much, deeper or much stronger stains? The second kind of stains are like grease, oil stains. Suppose you are cooking food, some cooking oil falls on your cloth. Now this is not like the surface dust. You cannot simply shake it off and get rid of it. You need to do something different. What do? Some machine grease or cooking oil falls on your cloth. What do? You have to use some strong detergent, and also sometimes scrubbing is required. You have to scrub. Then only it will go. Now this can be compared to the Jnana Kanda philosophical speculation that is recommended in the scriptures. Simply by performing rituals, okay, some punya you got, but there are still stains, dirty things in the heart. So by speculation, by cultivating spiritual knowledge, I am not this body, I am soul. Right? Matter and spirit are different. Like this cultivating spiritual knowledge. What happens? This removes ignorance, but the subtle ego and pride remains. Simply theoretically understanding that I am not the body, I am soul is not sufficient. So the jnana process can be compared to using of detergent and scrubbing. It does remove our ignorance, but there is subtle pride, there is ego, false ego, which is still there, which is urging me to commit sinful activities. That is not gone away. Then we have to go for next level cleansing. See, we are going from one level to another level. Deeper and deeper and deeper cleansing is what is happening. Now the third kind of stains, if the cloth, if there is some fabric stain, dyes, fabric dyes, when it falls on the cloth, you can't simply use scrubbing and remove, you can't use detergent and remove, you need some special treatment for that, right? Like permanent marker. If permanent marker stains come, you cannot simply scrub it off. Even detergents will not be able to remove it sometimes. We need some special chemical treatment for that. Some different chemical has to be put for that. Now this can be compared to the yoga process. In yoga process, the yogis sit in meditation and they try to fix their mind on the Paramatma in the heart. They try to use their mental strength to get out of all material desires. They try to suppress their desires. But yes, this is good. It will remove mental disturbances. It will help you attain peace of mind. But still, pride is not gone away. Big yogis have fallen down. Example is given in the 9th canto of Bhagavatam. Saubhari Muni. Saubhari Muni, he went deep into the Yamuna waters, controlled his breath, sat on the river bed, he sat and performed tapasya. But when he saw a female and a male fish mating, immediately he got disturbed with lusty desires. His mind got agitated. So he had a great amount of sense control, but he could not, get out of this dirty thing, the kama. In fact, in the Bhagavatam, it is described as kamam kashayam. What is kashaya? Decoction. It is very, very strong. When that kashaya falls on your cloth, it will leave permanent mark. If you come on the last day of Brahmotsava festival in our temple, we have Maha Samprokshana. How many of you have experienced this Maha Samprokshana? On that day, holy waters from the kalashas will be splashed as blessings on all the devotees. And always devotees make sure that they wear old dhoti and come. You know why? Their fresh new dhoti, white dhoti if you wear and come, whole year you can keep telling, see, I came for last day of Brahmotsava. It will leave a permanent stain. No one, it's like an identity card for you. You don't have to open and tell that I came for Samprokshana. It will be evident, self-evident. So, the fourth kind of stains are I was telling about Kama Kashaya. Bhagavatam says this Kama, the desire to enjoy independent of Krishna in this material world, has deeply stained our consciousness. It is a very deep stain. And it is old stain, oldest stain. Some old stains, they have settled there. It's not easy to get while you're washing. This is a fourth kind of stain. Deep, old, set-in stains. They're very stubborn, right? And like blood stains, not easy to get out of it. Holy colors. And I gave the example of Samprokshana, turmeric water. It will not go so easily. Many years, in fact, if this stain has accumulated for many years, it is not possible to get out of it so easily. So what do we do in this case? For that, the process is, Kama Kashaya, oldest stain, deep stain. How do we get out of this? For that, there is a solution given in the Bhagavatam. Shrinvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha hridyantastohi abhadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam. A very beautiful verse. We should all know this verse. In the first canto, second chapter of the Bhagavatam. Verse number 17. What is the meaning of this? Shrinvatam, we have to hear. Swakatha, Krishna's katha, Krishna katha we have to hear. Which is punya shravana kirtanaha. Which in itself, just by hearing and chanting, it is the highest piety one can accumulate. And what happens when you do this? Hridayantasthohi, hridayantastha. Stha means situated. Hridayantaha means in the heart. Abhadrani means all the contaminations. Vidhunoti. This word is very beautiful. Dhunoti. Dhunoti means to purify. Vidhunoti. Vi means Vishesha dhunoti. Specially it is taken away. Who takes away? Krishna personally removes these stains from our heart. So, let us read the translation of this verse by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. When you simply develop an inclination to hear about Krishna and chant his holy names, simply developing an inclination, not that we have to become fully, elevated, then only this deep cleansing will happen. No. Even if you have little inclination, little interest to hear about Krishna and chant his holy names, then what will happen? Krishna, who is seated in our heart, he personally cleanses. He personally cleanses all the misery, all the material contaminations within our heart. Right? If Krishna personally cleanses, that is the deep cleaning, deepest cleansing that can happen. Isn't it? So all the other processes, karma kanda rituals, jnana kanda, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, yoga, trying to control your mind and senses, in all these processes, the practitioners have to depend on their own ability to control their senses, on their own ability to know and perform rituals, on their own ability to be disciplined. But here in Bhakti Yoga, just if we hear to Krishna Katha, Krishna will personally take charge of our life and personally he will do deep cleansing. That is the only way to remove the deep stains of karma and other negativities, impurities which have accumulated in our heart because of long-term imprisonment in this material world. So why Bhakti Yoga? So another important word used in this shloka is Ashu Purushasya Manomalam Haret. Manomalam, we just now discussed different kinds of stains and all. But Ashu, Parikshit Maharaja's question is, what process if I follow very quickly? Ashu means very quickly, all my manomalam will be destroyed. What process I should follow? That is Maharaj Parikshit's question. And here Bhakti Yoga is the process. Right? Anarthopashamam sakshat Bhakti Yogam adhokshaje. When we engage ourselves in devotional service to the Lord will personally clean us, cleanse our consciousness. Therefore, this is the quickest method to become free from all contamination. Why it is quickest? Because Lord personally cleanses. What we have to do? We have to simply hear and chant about Krishna. That is the process. One important thing I would like to share. Krishna mentions in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. My devotee, even though he has, because of past conditioning, he has some bad habits and all that, because he is engaged in my service, Krishna says, Kshipram, very quickly he will become dharmatma, a pious soul, because I personally cleanse. So Krishna personally cleanses. Somebody asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what should I do? What is the thing that I should do to quickly attain the lotus feet of Krishna? Quickly I want to attain, Shighra. Because in Kali Yuga everything is fast track. No one has the patience, so many years I have to sit and do meditation. Not possible. So fast track process. What is the fast track process? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kahe, Vaishnava seva nama sankirtana dui kara shighra pabe Shri Krishna charana. Dui means two. Just do these two things. Shighra, very soon you will attain the lotus feet of Krishna. What is that two things? Vaishnava seva, serving the devotees of the Lord, and nama sankirtana, chanting the holy names of the Lord. This is the fast track method to attain perfection very, very soon, very quickly. That is the point. So, surrendering to Krishna will enable us to immediately become free from all miseries. In this connection, there is one story from the Ramayana in the Sundara Kanda. I'll just tell this and end the class. Once Mother Sita and Lord Ramachandra, they were sitting in a forest, in a place, in the forest. And that time, one crow comes there. Kakasura. If you have heard. So, he was actually the son of Indra, Jayanta. His name was Jayanta. In the Rama Ashtottara Shatanamavali we see Jayanta Trana Varadaya Namaha. So this Jayanta, he was so arrogant, so proud, because he is Bade Baap ka beta. Right? He is a son of Indra. So he thought now, he came in the form of a crow and started disturbing Mother Sita. Again and again he was actually, with his beak, he was hurting Mother Sita's body. And this Ramachandra came to know. What did he do? Immediately, instantly, he took a blade of grass and he hurled at that crow. And that blade of grass, Lord Ramachandra invoked Brahmastra on the blade of grass. You came as an insignificant bird. See, I don't have to get some weapon now immediately. There is a blade of grass and he hurled at Jayanta. And with blazing fire, this Brahmastra started following this Kakasura everywhere. He went to his father. He said, I can't do anything. He went to so many devatas. Nobody could help him. Finally, he had to come and take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Rama. He surrendered. And immediately, Lord Rama said, because you have surrendered to me, I will forgive your offense. And immediately, he said, I'm going to forgive, but this Brahmastra has to act. It cannot go ineffective. So what should I do? So he said, please put it, make my eye, squint eye. That's why crows, they say they have squint eye. One of the eyes is squint because of the effect of Brahmastra. But his life was spared. This squint eye reminded this Jayanta of his bad behavior, of his dirty thing in his heart, because of which He hurt Mother Sita, but also it reminded him how merciful and compassionate the Lord is. We keep on doing so many mistakes, but the Lord is so tolerant, so forgiving. This is the compassionate nature of the Lord. But Srila Prabhupada says, in the same way, when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When you chant Hare Krishna mantra, it purifies our consciousness. The Lord will forgive all our sinful activities. But the only condition is, we should not repeat those sinful activities again. Anyway, now I am chanting Hare Krishna. I got a method to counter all my sins. I'll keep chanting and side by side I'll keep doing my own sinful activities. No, that is offensive. That is not recommended. That we should never do. That is misusing the compassion of the Lord. So therefore, anyone who surrenders to the Lord, immediately the Lord will give special protection. He will forgive and always make sure that he is in the right path. But what we should do from our side, we should always be obedient to the orders of the spiritual master. We should follow very diligently. So, Krishna tomara haya yadi bale ek bar maya band haite Krishna tare kare par. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, one time if you sincerely go in front of Krishna and say, Krishna, I am yours. Sincerely we have to say. Then what happens? Immediately Krishna will stop the action of Maya on that devotee. He will give special protection to that devotee. So therefore, we must take shelter. The best process is to perform devotional service according to the guidance of Srila Prabhupada. We should continue to chant, continue to serve the Vaishnavas, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, and in this way we will get complete protection. So Bhakti Yoga is the process of deep cleansing. All our millions of lifetimes accumulated dirty things will be cleansed simply if you sincerely apply yourself to Bhakti Yoga. And here in this verse, even though Parikshit Maharaj is a pure devotee, for the benefit of others, especially those who are not able to fix their mind on the personal form of the Lord, he is asking, where should one fix his mind? But devotees are already fixed their mind on the Lord. There is no need of any other conception, any other process. So, for those who are not able to fix their mind on the Lord, Shukadeva Goswami is going to describe about the Virat Rupa, the universal form of the Lord, and how a yogi has to meditate on different aspects of the universal form of the Lord. All these things will be discussed in the coming verses. So with this we come to an end of today's session. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vishwa Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mahaprasadam ki jai.